Welcome to the July 5th, 2023 reorganizational and regular meeting. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Can everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Jeez, the seat's broken. All righty. Moving right along. Okay. Item 3, organizational meeting agenda. Can I get a motion to appoint election of temporary chairperson, Lisa Ream? Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing as none, all in favor? Motion passes. It's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. We're going to begin with the oaths of office taken by our re-elected and newly elected board members. We will begin with Virginia Healy. Virginia, if you'd meet me at the podium.
I, Virginia Healy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee of the Board of Education
of the office of trustee of the Board of Education
of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability.
of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can just sign. Okay. Next up is Erica Murphy. Erica, please join me. I state your name.
I, Erica Murphy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee of the Board of Education
of the office of the trustee of the Board of Education
of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability.
of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability. Thank you.
And Ms. Redmond, if you don't come over. I state your name.
I, Cynthia Redmond,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee of the Board of Education
of the office of the trustee of the Board of Education. Excuse me.
That's fine. Of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability.
Of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will now accept nominations for President of the Board of Education for the 2023-24 school year. Are there any nominations?
Okay. Oh, mine's up. Is that on?
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Colin Palmer for president.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay. We will now vote for the president of the board. All in favor of Colin Palmer? 7-0. Congratulations, Colin.
Congrats.
So Colin is now declared the president of the Board of Education for the 23-24 school year. I will now accept nominations for vice president of the Board of Education.
I nominate Brian Connolly.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, I declare the nominations closed. All in favor of Brian Conley as vice president of the board? Another 7-0. Congratulations, Mr. Conley. You are now declared the vice president of the Board of Education for the 23-24 school year. We're going to give the oaths of office to the newly elected president and vice president of the board. Colin, if you could join me at the podium, please.
Too sneaky. Yeah. I, Colin Palmer,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of President of the Board of Education
of the office of President of the Board of Education
of the Riverhead Central School District
of the Riverhead Central School District
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thanks.
And Mr. Conley for Vice President. I state your name.
I, Brian Connolly,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Vice President of the Board of Education
of the office of Vice President of the Board of Education
of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my ability.
of the Riverhead Central School District to the best of my abilities.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I think I have to hand it over to the board president, and then
Come back forward.
Okay, the meeting will now be turned over to Colin Palmer, President of the Board of Education.
Thank you, Ms. Riem. We'll now have the oath of office administered to the Superintendent of Schools. If Dr. Tornatore could join me. I state your name.
Dr. Augustini Tornatore,
I do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Superintendent of Schools
of the Office of Superintendent of Schools
of the Riverhead Central School District
of the Riverhead Central School District
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, you can.
I'm signing here.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We'll now have approval of appointments for various positions in the district. Can I have a motion to approve the following appointments?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Mrs. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion approved. We'll have the oath of office administered to the district clerk.
Now I get to stumble.
I state your name.
I, Lisa Rioum,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of District Clerk
of the Office of District Clerk
of the Riverhead Central School District
of the Riverhead Central School District
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats.
Okay. You don't have to take my picture.
Photo of the full board now.
Maybe, I'm thinking, it probably would be useful, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This is literally the suit I bought. I'm trying to get as much use of it as I can.
Only got it 2 months ago.
At least.
Now we have letter I, approval of CSE and CPSE members. Can I have a motion to approve the appointments of those members for the 2023-2024 school year?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Scudder. All in favor? Motion carried. Letter J, the appointment of impartial hearing officers. Can I have a motion for those members, those impartial hearing officers for this upcoming school year?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Brian. Second.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. All in favor? Motion carried. Letter K, motion to approve banks and depositors of school funds and bonding for the 2023-2024 school year. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Scudder. All in favor? Motion carried. Letter L, motion to approve the official monthly calendar of board meetings for the 2023-2024 school year. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Healy. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yes, I'll be here on my birthday.
All in favor? Motion carried.
Get me a cake.
Letter M, approval of official newspapers and media for the Riverhead Central School District, riverheadlocal.com, Riverhead News Review, the Southampton Press Western Edition, and Newsday. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carried. Letter N, approval of authorizations for the 2023-2024 school year. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Scudder. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion passes. Letter O, recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, Board of Education approves the following resolutions. Can I have a motion to accept these resolutions?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can, Ms. Redmond, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
First meeting.
That's okay.
Well, first for me, too. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Great. Now we have the superintendent's report. Dr. Tornatori?
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. So the first thing that I do want to share with the community is we did receive the funds for LIPA for the past 2 years, so we are very pleased that everything resolved itself without having to go to litigation. We do want to thank LIPA and the town as well for working this out, so we were able to receive them. I was able to attend the end-of-the-year events, the various moving up ceremonies, as well as our graduation. And I did want to share that we're very excited that we have a lot of items on the agenda for the summer for our students. So we have high school summer school, which actually began today. We have our extended school year for our special education students at Pulaski this summer. Our ELL summer program is also at Pulaski. Riverhead Recreation program is at Aquabog. Our camp invention and scope offerings for our younger students is at Riley this summer. And we also will be launching our middle school summer enrichment program for later on this summer as well. So a very busy summer as we also work to update the various items of the physical plant as well.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from other board members? Not seeing none. Thank you very much, Dr. T. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items? Oh, public comments. Yes, thank you. Oh, yeah, I already moved right over there. We have public comments on agenda items. Any public comments? Yes, sir.
Just one, good evening. My name is Willie Shang, former BOCES, I'm a former Riverhead School Board member, current Eastern Suffolk BOCES Board member. What I'd like to say is congratulations to the re-elected and elected board members. But as far as the commentary, item J is attendance to conferences. I encourage, especially the new board members, and some of the administrators to attend some of the coast conferences put on by Eastern Suffolk BOCES and also by New York State School Boards Association. One of them coming up at the DEI conference at Stony Brook that is being co-sponsored by Eastern Suffolk BOCES and Stony Brook University. And the other one is the school law conference coming up in a few weeks in Huntington, put on by New York State School Boards Association, and there's a lot to learn, and I encourage everyone to take part in all those training sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lisa, do we have any online comments? No? Excellent, thank you. Any other public comments? No, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. New business. We'll have letter A, the designation of board members on committees. So we have for the audit committee, we will have Ms. Healy, Ms. Murphy, and Mr. Palmer. For the health and safety committee, we'll have Mr. Wallace, Ms. Murphy, and Ms. Redmond. See, I got it now. Apologies again, Ms. Redmond. For the intergovernmental policy committee, we'll have Ms. Redmond, Mr. Palmer, and Mr. Scudder. For the Wellness Committee, we'll have Mr. Palmer, Ms. Healy, and Ms. Redmond. And for the Facilities Committee, we'll have Mr. Wallace, Mr. Connolly, and Mr. Scudder. Any questions or comments? No? Can I have a motion to accept those?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? And motion passes. Letter B, the appointment of an audit committee member. This is for a new position on the audit committee to have a member of the public. And this is appointing Mr. John Mackey as the community member of the audit committee. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
No, but
Seeing none, all in
welcome
favor?
aboard.
And motion carries. Letter C, amendment to civil service title. Can I have a motion to accept the amendment?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Ms. Healy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter D, amendment to civil service title and individual contract. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, just maybe to explain, so this came from civil service directing us that we had to change this employee's title. Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion- That's okay. Motion passes. Letter E, approval of annual employment contracts for 2023-2024. Can I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Oh, Mr. Scudder? Thank you, Mr. Scudder. Can I have a second? A second? Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Looking all over the place. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter F, approval of library service contracts for the 2023-2024 school year. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter G, approval of order on consent and waiver of formal hearing. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion passes. Letter H, approval of consultant agreement with Cheryl Pedisich. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Wallace. Second. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion passes. Letter I, approval of membership dues. This is for the district and the Board of Education to various organizations. Can I have a motion? Motion. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter J, approval of attendance at conferences. This is for members of the board and for Dr. Tornatori. Can I have a motion? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Scudder. Can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, because typically, I know that we've done the law conference every year, but is there a deadline? I mean, I know because we've had new board members. Okay, all right, great, thank you.
We have had in the past, with some conference passing, we will like approve it in hindsight, something like that, which I think we have the ability to do as well. Very, thank you. Any other comments? Nope. All in favor? Motion passes. Letter K, approval of professional development plan. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Scudder. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter L, approval of professional development team. Can I have a motion?
Motion?
Motion. Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Healy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter M, approval of positions. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter N, approval of part-time senior administrative assistants. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? And any abstentions?
Abstention.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. All in favor? Oh, no, the motion passes.
We're in favor of
had that.
abstention.
Letter O, authorizing a contract with Stony Brook University Hospital. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter P, approval of memorandum of agreement with RCFA. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter Q, authorize the Board of Education, the Board President to sign extensions to contracts that expire June 30th, 2023. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter R, award a contract for irrigation. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter S, approval of contracts for data security and privacy. Can I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Scudder. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Healy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter T, approval of EBALR. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Can I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter U, authorize the approval of disposal of surplus equipment. These are for items that are obsolete. Can I have a motion?
Motion?
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Can I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Scudder. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Letter V, acceptance of donation. This is for the district to accept a $200 gift card donation from Harbor Freight, which was used to purchase rifle cases for the NJROTC drill and marksmanship teams. Can I have a motion? Motion. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
No, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Motion passes. Opportunity for board members. Do we have any committee reports?
Yes, I have one.
You have one?
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Do you want to go first? or- All right. So the audit committee met May 31st. Present was Dr. Tornatori, Dr. Assay, myself, Colin Palmer, Jeanette Velarde, Gail Yeager, Ernest Patrick Smith, and Demetris Bentelaskas from Noraki Smith. Hope I pronounced that right. The audit committee discussed that the district is required to fill the deputy treasurer position with a qualified civil service candidate because it is a civil service competitive position. The checks and wire transfers can be processed by a trained treasurer, deputy treasurer, or a designated board member. A deputy treasurer or a designated board member is going to be needed in the absence of the treasurer. The district can reallocate budgeted funding from BOCES services to pay for a trained deputy treasurer or designate a board member to complete the work. The audit committee discussed the status of the payroll office because the payroll supervisor does not have a backup trained staff. Payroll management is one of the most critical business functions in every organization, and it is urgent for the district to have a qualified civil service employee as a backup in the absence of the payroll supervisor. The district can reallocate budgeted funding from BOCES services to pay and train a business office staff to be the backup payroll supervisor in accordance with civil service requirements and the collective bargaining agreement with CSEA. The audit committee discussed the status of the 22-23 general fund budget and reducing spending due to increasing costs of goods and services. The federal relief funds are covering more than $4 million of staffing and other costs for the general fund. The district will have to address the management of significant increase costs of health insurance. The audit committee discussed having a plan for the 22-23 external audit because the treasurer is going to have to be trained. The district can reallocate budgeted funding from BOCES services to pay for accounting services for the external audit. The audit committee reviewed the 22-23 internal audit reports with the internal auditors from Naraki Smith. The district is going to have to implement a corrective action plan.
Thank you, Ms. Healy. And Ms. Wallace?
Yep. Okay, facilities, we met on June 27th. Present was Dr. Tornatore, Dr. Assay, Terry Calhoun, myself, Rick from H2M, he's the engineer, and Justin from Energia. So we discussed security update projects in which the attorney reviewed them. All the work will be done under state contracts, and they've actually started the security update. We're going to be going with Scholarship. That's a program that the kids will be punching into school and out of school whenever they go in and out of a building. It's a security system. That's going to be a new update, which is excellent. We discussed the capital facilities plan and space management with the H2M architects. They were going to be meeting with the school administrators and department administrators to discuss to see what they some plans, what they would like to have done in their buildings and whatnot. We looked at energy savings projects in the buildings from 2022, condition survey. H2M will continue to give us updates after they meet with the administrators from the different buildings and whatnot. And as far as the EPC contract, we're looking into different avenues to get that put together then. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. We also have a policy committee meeting update from June 22nd, 2023. Present were Dr. Tornatore, Mr. Connolly, Ms. Healy, and Dr. Galati, and I was unfortunately absent. But the following Board of Ed policies were reviewed. For community relations, policy 1222, the relationship with booster organizations. The committee is making a recommendation to remove the last paragraph of the existing policy specific to when a contribution is made that a representative of the organization meet with the superintendent and review terms and conditions of accepting gifts or more. For policy 2160, school district officer and employee code of ethics, it's been determined by the committee that the policy is in keeping with the mission and vision of the RCSD and does not warrant any modifications, upgrades, or changes at this time. For policy 6165, admission of non-English language learners to district bilingual education programs, is a policy that currently doesn't exist in the district policy journal. This will be a new policy for the district to address the new bilingual education program. We will revisit the policy at the onset of the school year, as it will be important for the new director of SEL, ENL, community outreach, and special programming to review and make recommendations for consideration. For policy 4326, limited English proficiency instruction, the committee has reviewed the NISBA recommendations to the policy. The committee is in agreement to the modifications and with the addition of 2 new appropriate administrative regulations to be implemented and addressed in the policy. For policy 4326 E.1, sample parent notification, the committee has reviewed the NISBA recommendations to the policy. This exhibit will be refined with appropriate language to address to parents/guardians that their children has been identified as an English language learner and the reasons for being placed in this program. Specific questions have also been provided and will need to be addressed by the district or school to educate and inform parents and guardians of the program and the purpose of being placed in the program. For policy 4326E.2, sample notification for failure to meet annual measurable objections relating to English proficiency, the committee is in agreement with the recommendations addressed by NYSBA specific to with the parent guardian electing the option of placement of their ENL student. There were also policies that were recommended by NYSBA. 4321.5, confidentiality and access to individualized education programs, individualized education service programs, and service plans. The committee is in agreement with the recommendations addressed by NYSBA specific to change in terminology. For 4765, online distance and remote learning, that's a new policy as recommended by NYSBA. The policy will place on hold until this policy is vetted with the district's attorney and with our labor units. For policy 5151, homeless children, the committee is in agreement with the recommendations addressed by NYSBA specifically to change in terminology, definition of homeless children, determination of eligibility, school of origin, funding, admission, participation, and more. For policy 5151R, homeless children regulation, the committee is in agreement with the recommendations addressed by NYSBA specific to change in terminology, admission procedures, unaccompanied youth and parent guardian signatures, transportation, dispute resolution process, and more. For policies 8131, pandemic planning, 4321.12, 4321.12E, it's for pandemic planning, use of timeout room regulations, and parent notification of use of timeout room or physical and mechanical restraint. These have been placed on hold. For policy 8140, unsafe school transfer choice, the committee is in agreement with the NYSBA recommendation to change the title as cross-referenced at the end of this policy, for the rest of the policy remaining unchanged. For policy 4321.12, use of timeout rooms, physical restraints, and aversives, the policy is required. However, the policy, regulation, and exhibit are not in our policy book. It's the new policy as recommended by NYSBA. The policy, regulation, and exhibit are on hold as per the policy committee, as the content of the policy, regulation, and exhibits will need to be reviewed by the director of PBS and the district legal team. And finally, for policy 4531, field trips and excursions, this policy was placed on hold by the policy committee in May 2023 to assess policies of other districts. Findings from other districts were shared at the meeting with the policy committee, and it's been determined by the committee to keep the ratio of teacher to student on field trips at the elementary school, as stated in the policy, at 1 to 10, and to change the ratio on the secondary level of 1 to 12 to 1 to 15. Otherwise, there's no change in the policy. That was that meeting. Do we have any other comments from board members?
Well, I just wanted to add, when there's going to be, the New York Education Department is going to be meeting about limiting restraints. So that was another reason why we put it on hold for the timeout, and that's going to be around July 17th, 18th. So we'll find out, they might be deciding for us about using restraints on our students.
Thank you, Ms. Healy. Any other comments? Seeing none, we have the opportunity for RCFA. Is there an RCFA comment?
Just before reading those out, my recommendation would be that there be a quick discussion in executive session about that. So we could defer that portion if the board's inclined to go into executive session on that.
Absolutely. Can I have a motion to adjourn into executive session? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. We'll go into executive session, then we will come back out afterwards. Coming in at 8:24 for executive session, and we'll be out again in a moment. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Over the. I have a motion to come back into public session. Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes at 8:06.
Sorry about that.
All
Sorry.
right, we're going to move to opportunity for RCFA. You said you have
Okay, this is from Greg Wallace, RCFA President. Good evening. I apologize for not being here in person to deliver this statement, as I have other obligations to tend to this evening. Yesterday, we as Americans celebrated our country's 247th birthday. The United States was created around a set of fundamental ideals on July 4th, 1776, after the Declaration of Independence was issued. One of the basic tenets of being an American citizen is enshrined in the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, and this right was further explained upon the ratification of the 14th Amendment on July 9th of 1868. The rudimentary right I am speaking about is the right to due process under the law. Being entitled to due process means citizens must be informed of actions being taken against them, in addition to the right to an impartial hearing or trial. Under New York State education law, tenured employees have the right to due process, as do students. School districts cannot indiscriminately suspend students for long periods of time. In fact, a school district cannot suspend a student any longer than 5 days without a due process hearing. Triggering a student's right to due process is an important step in identifying students who need support. Many times when a student commits a serious infraction, there are most likely contributing factors which led up to these acts. There can be social emotional issues at play, or a student's disability could have been a contributing factor. As a school community, we need to trust that our building administration will adjudicate serious discipline offenses, especially those involving inappropriate touching, violence, or threats of violent acts in a manner which triggers a student's due process rights. If you were to review the Riverhead School District Code of Conduct and Support, there is a list of offenses as well as consequences. However, there is one caveat. The Code of Conduct does allow for universal administrator discretion. On the surface, this caveat seems benign, especially for minor offenses. However, this discretion can be applied to any offense. Hypothetically, there could be a serious fight in the cafeteria, and in theory, the building administration could send the students back to class with minimal discipline. Hypothetically, a student could inappropriately touch another student, and in theory, the building administration could send the student back to class with minimal discipline. Hypothetically, a student could threaten a teacher with physical violence, and in theory, the building administration could send the student back to class with minimal discipline. In theory, if building administrators were to fail to adjudicate discipline for serious offenses in a matter which triggers students' due process rights, they would not only fail to provide students with the legal protection they are entitled to under education law, they would not be creating a pathway for students to access important services they may be entitled to. This is exactly how children fall through the proverbial cracks, and this is precisely how serious yet manageable issues unfold into full-blown crisis. The association is calling on the Board of Education to carefully examine this issue with the superintendent of schools and make the adjustments necessary to ensure the safety of all staff and students who walk the halls of Riverhead schools. Thank you, Gregory Wallace, RCFA President.
Thank you, Lisa. We have an opportunity for comment from RAW.
I do not have one from them.
No opportunities for members of the community. Do we have any public comments? Do we have any online comments? Online comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn our meeting? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much. See you all early next month.
Please help support the Riverhead Central School District YouTube channel by subscribing. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please be sure to push that subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications. Thank you.